Hi everybody, my name is Jim with Full Moon Adventure Club, and today we're going to be reviewing the MV99 external RV water filter by Frizzlife. I actually have an under the sink version of the Frizzlife water filter in my RV sink and also here in my house. I've been enjoying them for about 2 years. The filters last a long time, they're easy to change out, the water tastes great. So I like their filters, but then they came up with an external RV version. And really, as far as filters go, it works like my filters here in the house do. But the thing that I really like about their RV kit is the accessories that they give you with this kit. All brass fittings, no plastic stuff's gonna break. They include a pressure regulator to make sure that the incoming water pressure stays between 40 and 50 PSI. So if you're hooked up to a really powerful external source, it's not gonna burst the pipes in your RV. And a lot of really great accessories that I'll show you in just a minute. And we'll do the unboxing. I'll show you how to install it. We'll do a taste test and go over the pros and cons and stuff of this filter and the things that I like. As far as the filter itself and what it can filter out, using a potable water source. So you can't just suck water out of a swamp. Obviously, it's not going to protect against viruses and things like that. But it's a 0.5 micron filter, and it's going to basically remove more than 99% of chlorine, sediments, lead, other heavy metals, arsenic, fluoride, cysts, VOCs, which is volatile organic compounds, bad taste, odors, and other harmful contaminants. Basically, using potable water, it's going to get rid of all the bad stuff that's in that water and just leave you with really clean, good tasting water. And we're going to check that out when we do the taste test and all that good stuff. So why don't we get into setting up this filter and find out what the cool accessories are that they actually include with this kit. All right, so as we can see here, as we open the box, we are going to have a lot of stuff in here. You have your little stickers and warranties and stuff like that. Here's the actual filter itself with a removable base. And it's also going to have, once we get the plastic off of here, you can see that it does have a mounting bracket for attaching anywhere in your RV with 3 screws that are included. So that's kind of nice, and you can take that off if you'd like. Owner's manual there for how to set it up and all what it does, all the filter requirements and things. Now here's the accessory kit, which I really like. This is where this unit really shines. Now, you can see it has these little brackets that are going to make the base plate stand in case you want to sit it upright outside your RV. And then it comes with 3 little tent stakes to keep it stationary, which is cool. 40 to 50 PSI pressure regulator, which is great. Wrenches to open up and change the internal filter. And a nice length of braided hose and also some friction tape, just to kind of make sure you don't have any leaks. So setting up the base plate here, you can see you just put in these little metal stands. You pop those in, pretty easy, takes just a couple of seconds. And once you have that done, you have a nice big sturdy little base platform that the filter just slides right into. Now we're going to go ahead and make sure that it's not going to get knocked over by wind or anything else or flexing of the hose by putting in these 3 tent stakes. And that's going to make sure it's secured to the ground and it's not going to go anywhere. We're just going to hammer those in. And once we get those nice and hammered in, it's really going to secure the entire thing to the ground so nothing is going to knock it over. And if you hit a rock, you just have to do it again. There we go, different direction. Okay. So once we have this thing completely secured, get the back one a little bit better there. There we go. So once you have it nice and sturdy, we're going to use the pressure regulator here. This is a 40 to 50 PSI pressure regulator. And inside that bag, you have your mounting screws for the other brackets. So don't throw that packaging away. That does have a rubber gasket on the outside and a screen. But for the inside connection, which is just threads, we want to use a little bit of that thread tape just to make sure that we're not going to have any leaks out there, no little droplets or anything getting out of there. So we're going to wrap that about 3 times and then break that off and screw that in. And with this particular install with the thread tape, I didn't even have to use a wrench to really put this in super hard. I just used my hand and kept turning until it stopped turning. And we didn't have a single leak when we did the taste test later. So now we're going to hook up our braided hose. Now this does have a rubber gasket, so there's no need for thread tape. And we're just going to screw that on hand tight. And then we're going to screw that right into the city water connection on our RV, and that's going to feed directly into our system. It's going to bypass our freshwater tank and all that stuff. Now we're going to hook up, I'm using a garden hose, but in the RV park, you're probably going to have a freshwater drinking hose for the RV, but this is what I had at the moment. But that's the basic setup. That's what it's going to look like. And now you've got filtered water feeding right into your entire RV, which is great. You could also fill up your freshwater tank just by putting an adapter at the end of that braided hose and filling up your freshwater tank. So that's pretty cool. You can use it for whatever you want. And don't forget, with that bracket, you can put that inside your water compartment and you don't need the base at all. Okay, well, this is about as simple of a test as I can run. Just got my hose coming straight out of a dirty garden hose here. Rubber, non-drinking type water hose. And I'm gonna just fill up cup number A. There we go. Now I'm going to turn that off and attach it to the Frizzlife filter. So as you can see, now we have the garden hose running through the frizz filter, and now we're going to use that to fill up cup number B. Okay, now we'll turn off the hose and do a taste test. I thought this was worth mentioning as well. When you look into the cups, there's actually debris from the hose that came out because it's an old hose. And Frizzlife water has none of that debris, so careful what hoses you hook up to your RV there. All right, so I was losing my light outside, so I just brought the cups of water inside here. You can see this is a cup A, and cup A is straight out of my rubber garden hose with no filters, and it actually has debris in the bottom of it. Little chunks of like black rubber and debris, so those have settled for the most part, but I'll try this one and see how it tastes. Yeah. So that's a flashback to being a kid and you're drinking right out of the garden hose. It's not good. So that tastes really rubbery. And you can also taste the chlorine. The water that we haul here to the cabin has a lot of chlorine in it. And you can definitely taste that. And it leaves a nasty aftertaste kind of on your teeth and mouth. So that's not fun. And then cup B was the one that we put through the Frizzlife filter and then right into the cup from the garden hose. So no debris in this one, which is much better. That's gross. Okay, so that tastes just like my under the sink Frizzlife filter. It tastes great. It tastes like nothing. Obviously there's no debris in it. It doesn't have any of the chlorine taste, and it also got rid of the rubbery hose taste because that's not a drinking water hose, that's just a garden hose. So all of that is gone, and that's just clean, good water. So the filter works really well. Obviously a lot better tasting than straight out of a garden hose, but that's a pretty good test just to make sure that this filter performs like the other filters that I have. So that works really well. Tastes good. Well, there you go, guys. I've been enjoying it. As far as features that I really like, I mean, other than the great tasting water, is obviously that when I have, a filter underneath my sink in the RV so I can put in any water I want, and my drinking water is filtered, but using this setup, all of the water in your RV is going to be filtered. So the water in the shower, the water in the bathroom sink, the water in the kitchen sink, and your drinking water. In my case, it'll go through another Frizzlife filter before I drink it, which is kind of cool. But that way, no matter what water source you use, it's going to be nice, clean water that's free of contaminants. This is only for potable water, mind you. You can't just suck water out of a swamp. But as long as it's potable, it's going to make that water taste amazing and get rid of all the harmful stuff. Now, other things that I liked about this particular one is mainly the accessories. All the fittings are brass, solid brass. So there's no plastic fittings that are going to strip out or crack or break over time. Solid brass fittings, which is a plus. And then also I really appreciate that they put in a pressure regulator from 40 to 50 PSI with the unit. Thank you, that's awesome. All new time RVers need to get one of these so that your pipes aren't damaged from really high pressure from an external source. So that's going to make sure your pressure stays within the normal tolerances of your RV, which is great. It also has a nice good flow rate. In the video where I was filling up the cups, I had the hose barely turned on at all, but it does have a 1.5 gallon per minute flow rate, so it should be fine for showers and anything like that. It's going to move through there really quick. You have to replace it every 6 to 12 months, which is a lot longer than a lot of the other competitors, especially considering how much water you put through to fill this guy up on a regular basis. 6 to 12 months is pretty good. Also, I like that it's a little more eco-friendly than other designs because with other filters, you just throw it away and put on another one. The plastic housing and all. And I think that puts a lot of plastic into landfills and stuff that doesn't necessarily need to be there. This one opens up on the top and comes apart, and you just put a new filter in and throw the old filter away, but you get to keep the really sturdy plastic housing, so you don't have to replace that every time, which I think is great. I also enjoyed that they give you absolutely everything you need for any installation. So the backing plate with screws you can mount inside your water bay in your RV or fifth wheel and just screw it right to the wall, and then you just run your hose in there and hook it up and you're good to go. So I like that. And then if you don't have that, like I don't, mine is just a thing on the side of the RV, so I need to attach mine to the dirt. It comes with the metal stand that we saw with the spikes, and that keeps the hoses from kinking. And it also keeps the filter upright so that the water is absorbed through the entire surface area of the filter. They do need to be upright to work at optimal efficiency. So I like that they included everything, and also that extension that goes from the filter up to the RV is very, very handy. Otherwise you'd have to buy some tiny little drinking hose. And theirs is braided, so it's not going to kink or anything else. That's nice and long, so it'll reach from the ground up to any level of RV where your city water connection is. So they really thought of everything. So I do enjoy this filter. I think it's great for RV beginners, especially because it comes with all the extra accessories and the pressure regulator. So that's pretty cool. I think that's most of the stuff that I'm looking at here for what we need to cover, but I like it. And now all the water that's coming into my RV is going to be really crisp, clean, and free of all the weird stuff that you can find in water nowadays. So it's pretty cool. I like it. I recommend it. If you are interested in one of these, I will put an Amazon link down below so you can go pick one up. And I think that about wraps it up. My name is Jim with Full Moon Adventure Club, and until the next video, thank you so much for watching, and happy camping.